amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. You know what time it is. Give me an amen. Now, how about a hallelujah? Hallelujah. It's show with no name time. Let's lift off together. 6, 5, 4, 3,
2,
come on.
1, 0. Ignition.
Come on, we got this.
Lift off. 30 minutes after the hour.
Come on. Go, 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 go. Get on up. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. And get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name. Let's go. Welcome, show with no namers from around the world. That's for you. For all the effort, all the oomph. Oomph es energía, ganas. Ya estamos con palabrones, as you call them. Oomph, O-O-M-P-H. I think you got to do everything in life with a little bit of oomph. Why not? If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right, as we say regularly here on the show. And I think you guys all live by that motto as well. Motto is another way of saying slogan. De hecho es frase hecha. Blah, blah, blah. That's my motto. Eso es mi eslogan. So welcome, amigos. Welcome, show with no namers. Welcome, Vaughn Radio listeners, wherever you're listening from, whether you're listening from the Americas, our amigos out in Asia. We've got a lot of listeners out in Asia, the Americas, obviously, all over Europe as well. And that's awesome. That's awesome that we're teaching people English all over the world. And for free. That's right. If you have the Vaughn Radio app, you can listen to all the programs all day long and literally immerse yourself in English. It's never been easier, and it's never been more affordable. It's free. It's Vaughn Radio. Download the free app and laugh and learn with us.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right. You can find out more about our master's program, about our summer camps, about all the amazing courses we have currently. I was going to say on offer, but then I changed my mind and I wanted to say currently, actualmente. And who knows, in a couple months, we could have some new courses. As you guys know, we are always hard at work because we mean business. Remember the expression we looked at yesterday in Kyle Miller's English book? I said, Kyle means business. Va en serio. Well, all of us here at Vaughn mean business. And folks, I think it's time to rock and roll with today's pop quiz.
Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz.
That's right, folks. It is our pop quiz here on the show with no name. This is an opportunity to grab some content from one of the many amazing materials we have available at the Von Tienda. You can stop by vontienda.com, or if you're in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza, you can stop by in person. You know, we'd love to meet you and hear a little bit more about your English journey, tu viaje con el inglés. And hey, we can help you. We can help you. We can at least lead you in the right direction. And sometimes that's all you need, right? Un toquecito. Say, hey, wait, listen, I think you need to focus more on this. You've got this going for you. No tienes esto muy bien. You've got this going for you, but you're lacking. Careces. You're lacking in this area. And it's good. The more you know your strengths and weaknesses, the more you can exploit your strengths and work on your weaknesses, right? All right. So today we're going to take a look at something from Conversaciones en Inglés. It's a 3-part series of books that come with audio. We've got the first one is obviously beginner. The second one is intermediate, and the third one is advanced. You've got over 3 hours of audio per book, and it's called Conversaciones en Inglés. You'll look at key words, key vocabulary words, expressions, and all these totally native idiomatic expressions that we use in our conversations. The ones that I want to know in Spanish, the ones I think you need to know in English. And you can find them all in Conversaciones en Inglés, part 1, 2, and 3. They're all available at vontienda.com. Also, our last question of the week before the summer break. Here it is, folks. If you could travel back in time, where would you go? That's it. And thanks to Chris Valrol, she sent us this one. If you could go back in time or travel back in time, where would you go? ¿Dónde irías? Right? What time? Maybe the 60s, maybe a specific event. Remember, the most important thing in the question of the week is you have to justify your answer. You have to defend your answer, right? So express yourself in English every week. In our question of the week, keep it at around a minute. You can send a voice note to alonso@grupovon.com, and we'll hear from you as we always do on Fridays. So if you'd like to participate, you've got until the end of the day, Thursday, and I want you to tell us this week where you would go if you could travel back in time. All right, amigos. And with that said, let's listen to a little excerpt from Conversaciones en Inglés. And as always, I will have some questions afterwards.
Oh, Gerald, you know what day it is today, don't you?
Yeah, Friday.
No, I mean the date. What date is it today?
I don't know. Why? I suppose I've forgotten another birthday or something, haven't I?
No, not this time. It's the 21st of December, 2012. You know, like the end of the world.
The end of the world? According to who? It's lunchtime, and I'm still here.
No, it's supposed to end at a certain time, according to the Mayans or the Aztecs or both. I can't remember. They predicted that today, at a certain time, the world would end.
And what time is this supposed to happen? I'd like to make sure I'm ready.
Well, they lived in Mexico, so I suppose they were referring to the time in Mexico. Hang on. How can you make sure you're ready for the end of the world?
Well, if none of us are going to be here tomorrow, I'm going to eat as much junk food as I please. Tell all the people I love that I love them, and all the people that I don't love, well, tell them too.
Ha! Imagine if you started telling people a few home truths and then you wake up tomorrow to find the world lives on. What would you do then?
Well, I suppose it would be too late, but maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe they wanted us to believe the world would end, so we would think more about our lives.
How philosophical of you, Gerald. And suppose you're right. What else would you like to do today if you knew it was your last day?
Well, I'd like to tell someone something special. I have been too shy to say it for a while.
Who and what? Tell me. Come on. It's your last chance, supposedly.
Well, I'm not sure. It could be really awkward if... Oh, look, the sky's turning red.
Ah, Gerald!
Good morning. Are you Mrs. Bramforth? I've got a package here for you.
Yes, that's me. Oh, is that it? It's bigger than I thought.
Yeah, I just need a signature, and it's all yours. If you could just sign on.
But this isn't what I ordered.
If there's a mistake with your order, you'll need to contact the company, Mrs. Bramforth. I'm just the delivery man.
What do you mean? It's not what I ordered. You'll have to take it back. Who else can I give it to?
Madam, being the delivery man doesn't necessarily mean that I can return your item. You have to contact the company directly.
This isn't the first time this has happened. I ordered it as a present for my niece. It's her birthday tomorrow. What am I supposed to do now? I mean, how hard is it to bring the right item?
I'm really sorry, madam. You can refuse the order, but that doesn't mean I'll bring the correct one. You need to speak to the company and organise another delivery date.
I don't believe this. I mean, this one's nice and big and everything, but the one I ordered was a bit smaller, so it could fit in your hands. Right. I suppose I should call them. Have you got their number?
Do you mean the number for the company? No, I only have the number for the depot office.
Oh, for goodness sake. Well, it's not your fault, I suppose. Let me go and look for the number.
Would you like me to use my blueberry to find the number for you?
What's a blueberry and how much will you charge? What I mean is, will I have to pay for it?
No, Mrs. Bramforth. It's my mobile phone, so you won't have to pay.
Oh, don't you worry about it, young man. You take your package and carry on with your job. I'll look for the number in the catalogue.
Me pregunta el del chiringuito si quiero hacer kitesurf o wakeboard o si prefiero tomarme un bitter cass antes. Me acaba de decir 5 palabras en inglés. Kite, que significa cometa, surf, que es obviamente hacer surf, pero también significa oleaje. Wake, que es estela, en este caso la estela del barco. Board es tabla y bitter es amargo. Y justo antes, cuando le pregunté si hablaba inglés, me dijo... ¡Pero patatero! Sabemos mucho más inglés de lo que creemos. Solo nos falta asimilarlo y situarlo. Aprende a aprender inglés en cualquier lugar con This Book is the Milk y su secuela, This Book is the Milk 2. Te enseñaremos cómo enfocar el inglés, aprovechando todo el inglés que tenemos alrededor y de una manera divertida y adictiva. The Remilk ahora se llama This Book is the Milk 2 y viene con audio y nueva portada. Descúbrelos ya en vaughantienda.com. Oh, yeah, folks, you've got amazing materials at vaughantienda.com. You can get them, obviously, in paperback format, or you can also get them on the PDF document. And that's kind of cool, too, for those of you. I don't have a tablet personally. We don't have them in my house, but
I know many people do have a tablet, and well, if you've got a tablet, that's wonderful because you can get the whole Vaughn collection on your tablet. Really, you can download them. You've got the audio on there. You've got the PDF document. And this way, you guys can be sitting near the pool, or you can be waiting to board your plane, or who knows, on a pleasure cruise. A pleasure cruise. This is actually an idiomatic expression that we use. It was a pleasure cruise. Algo fácil. A ver si lo tienen aquí. Pleasure cruise. Well, it doesn't come up on word reference, but it's another way of saying something is a breeze. Something is a walk in the park. Un paseo por el parque. All right, so we got a lot of good vocabulary out of that audio, and whoa, did you hear that delivery guy's accent? Well, guess what? There are a lot of people who talk like that. I think I tell you all the time about my friend Craig, who is from London, and the correct way to say the video game is Grand Theft. No, sacando la lengua, theft, Grand Theft Auto 3. No, hay que sacar la lengua mucho. Well, he says Grand Theft Auto 3. All right, so try and say it like me first. Grand Theft Auto 3. He would say Grand Theft Auto 3. Now, he says free instead of 3, but guess what? He's not alone. So he's not the one with the problem. We are, if we have to understand him. So be aware, you're going to hear some crazy accents out there. And I was talking about this with an English friend. He's actually Welsh, Gales. All the different accents and how varied they are in the British Isles. It's incredible. I mean, just, Manchester and Liverpool, not too far away from each other, totally different accents. And we won't even talk about just in London, an Eastern London accent versus, maybe the West Side. So it's really incredible because when people say, I want to speak with a British accent, I'm like, okay, which one? Or I want to speak with an American accent. I'm like, oh, well, then that's great. And then you can talk like my cousin Bobby. Right? There are a lot of, what am I getting at? That there is not one standard. Okay, you could say this is standard English, standard British English, but the only people who speak that are kind of like news anchors, los que dan la noticia. Normal people just speak, well, the way their parents spoke, really, right? Their parents, some of the influences, their friends, and as we know very well here, the other influences are television and music, pop culture, right? The world around us, everything we're learning about. So a couple things that I wanted to highlight from there. Item. I know you say item in Spanish. I've heard people take this word and say item. It's item. And it's not just una cosa, but also if I say, are you and Johnny an item? Estáis juntitos, right? So it's artículo. It's also, what was the, to itemize. Okay, so to itemize, esa es la otra que te quería dar de esta raíz. To itemize a bill is, I think, desglosarlo. No te dice detallar. Excuse me, you charged me $300, but I don't know what what everything's for. You've got a lot of different fees. We looked at that word yesterday. Could I have an itemized bill? Could you break it down for me? Bill is another way of saying invoice. Invoice or bill, okay? Y ambos son verbos también. I'll bill you at the end of the month. I'll invoice you, te mandaré factura, at the end of the month. Good to know this stuff. Just be careful, because I've heard a lot of Spanish people say item. And it's item. Bueno, con inglés americano nos comemos. Item. La T es una D. Item. That's my favorite item. And the British item. Ellos sí que pronuncian seguro la T en general, como acabamos de decir. All right, the next one, niece. That was another one that I've heard a lot of people say nice or nice. right? Niece. Another thing that we heard in there, nice and. Y esta nos comemos la de. I'm nice and hungry, bastante. He's nice and tall, bastante. It's another way of saying pretty. Y en Estados Unidos usamos el pretty siempre. He's pretty ugly, right? It's just an oxymoron, by the way. Pretty, ugly. Also, we heard for goodness sake. Well, that's a non-offensive way of saying, oh my God. Well, hey, some people, if you're very religious, you might get offended when people use the Lord's name, el nombre del Señor, in vain. So, guys, it's good to know this stuff because you never know who you're dealing with. So I always say it's better to be a little more formal. You can always bring it down. The same happens, they say it. I'm no expert in fashion, but one thing I've heard throughout the years, a lo largo de los años, is it's better to be overdressed than underdressed for any occasion. What does that mean? Well, overdressed means soy el único que va en traje. I'm the only one wearing a suit here. It's okay. Now, if everybody's wearing a suit and you're the only one wearing jeans, it's not cool. See what happened there? So that's what we say. I don't know if this is like an unwritten rule, but I've heard it many times. And again, I know nothing about fashion, if you haven't noticed. But it's true. It's true. I've noticed it before. You'll stand out, para usar vocabulario de ayer. You'll stick out stick out, we say, like a sore thumb. Because to stand out like a sore thumb, I haven't heard it very much. Bueno, se entiende. But it sounds better with stick out. So if you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb, it's better to be more formal. And not just when we're dressed, but also when we speak as well. You can always bring it down. Be like, oh, this guy doesn't want to be formal. Okay, well, I'll go to more of a casual speak. No, un habla más casual. But don't start out with that. Hey, just some advice. Some people are serious and they don't like joking around at all. While others, if you don't joke around, they say this guy doesn't really have a personality. He's like a robot. But since we never know who we're dealing with, con quién estamos tratando, it's always better to be a little more polite, a little more formal when we have that initial contact. All right, let's take a look at your challenges here in our pop quiz. Now, we were talking about dates in this audio as well. Again, this is from Conversaciones en Inglés. It's available at Von Tienda. And they were talking about dates. All right, so I want you to tell me, if you don't want to use yours, si no quieres darnos tu cumpleaños, quieres darnos el de tu hijo, de tu hermana, that's fine, okay? But basically, I want you to tell me, no sé quién, o yo, nació tal día. Nací tal hora, okay? You don't have to keep writing the nací. So you can put the nací o ella nació y luego quiero el día, invéntatelo si no, un sábado a las 12, tal mes, tal año y luego dámelo entero. Okay? I'm looking at prepositions here more than anything. Quiero ver las preposiciones y si las tenemos perfectas. Okay? So, nací o ella nació. You can use whoever you want. But write this down. The first thing is the day. So the day of the week. Invéntatelo si no te acuerdas el día que naciste. Nací un lunes. Luego 3 puntos. A las tal. Okay, so day, time, month. Si solo pones el mes, ¿qué preposición usas? Year. Si solo pones el año, ¿qué preposición usas? And lo quiero entero al final. Nací el 4 de julio de 1985. All right? You see what I'm getting at, right? I want to check those prepositions and make sure we've got them down pat. So again, it's day, time, month, year, and then the full date. All right? The next one, they were talking about philosophy and, an idiomatic expression came to mind. How would you say tomarlo con filosofía? I love that expression in Spanish as well. Tómalo con filosofía. All right? And The third one, I want you to show me that you know the difference between firmar and la firma. Okay, so give me both of them. You can put them easily in context together. Firmar y la firma, o sea, el verbo versus sustantivo. All right, so repeating it for you. The first one, I was born this day, this time, this month, this year, and then give me everything at the end. The second one, tómalo con filosofía. And the third one, show me you know the difference between firmar and la firma. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with much more Show with No Name, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the second part of today's Show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. It's officially summertime. And remember, you can continue to learn with us all summer long. In fact, summer is the best time. The days are longer, so we have more time. In general, I mean, it depends what industry you're in. You have a little bit more time, right? A little more downtime because the days are longer, and unless you're in the tourism industry, well, the summer is usually, there are fewer people in offices. There's less hustle and bustle, como decimos, ajetreo. Less hustle and bustle. And I love it. I know a lot of people flee Madrid, right? To flee, huir. Flee, fled. A lot of people flee Madrid in August. I love it. Go ahead, madrileños, enjoy it. Well, it's kind of nice. Okay, it's hot. But isn't it hot everywhere? I mean, even in London, it's hot in July and August. All right, amigos, we're going to kick things off in this part of the show with our Say What soundbite. Then we're going to check your pop quiz answers, and we've got our spelling bee and so much more. But here's today's Say What soundbite. Say what? Yes. Say what? As always, you are going to hear a famous person speaking, maybe in a movie, maybe in an interview, perhaps giving a speech. Well, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me the context, and hopefully you can give me a little synopsis of what you heard. Obviously, using your best English. Show off. Presume. Of course. If you're not going to show off your English in your English class, what are you waiting for? So show us how great you sound in English. And I know many of you not just sound great when you write, but many of you, I know you sound great when you speak. Well, how do I know? Because you participate in the question of the week. So you know who you are. Keep it up. Is everybody ready? All right, let's give you the Say What soundbite here for the first time, and then I'll give it to you a second time, and then we can discuss it. Is everybody ready? Here we go.
I've done it several times, and people go down in flames, and then they show them where it actually came from, which is sort of a meaningless comment, but a fun comment that demonstrates that the enormity of that song.
All right, that's easy enough, right? Yo creo, I think it's pretty easy. All right, nicen, para usar el nicen, fíjate, me como la de otra vez. It's nice and easy, no? Nice and easy, bastante fácil, okay? It's another way, again, of saying pretty. And that word nice, you know the word nice, right? The adjective nice is majo. He's very nice. I really like your brother. I'm glad we met. He's really nice. And also in American English, nice, pero dicho nice. No, hay que, todo está en el tono. Oh, your nephew is very nice. But if you say, that car is nice, ¿ves la diferencia? Nice, en ese sentido, es mola. Remember, you got to do the acting. You got to put in that tone there, because that's key. You know, if you're saying something in a sarcastic way, well, let it come through in your voice, because, that's the idea. The example I always used is, it's very different to tell somebody, oh, tell me about it. Okay, tell me about it. You see? So one of them is, oh, I'm interested. Please. Again, your voice is what's saying that. It's the same sentence, right? So in one case, it's, oh, tell me, or sinelo, tell me about it. Like, I had no idea, right? Really, there's doubt in your voice. Whereas, mientras tanto, if you're like, bueno, sin sonidos, ¿ok? Bueno, es difícil porque siempre dejas un suspiro ahí. Tell me about it. You know, you kind of open your eyes and tell me about it. ¿Me lo dices o me lo cuentas? So again, it's all up to you to convey, transmitir, whatever kind of emotion is behind that. That's the difficult thing about chatting or dealing with people on social media. They don't know if there's a sarcastic tone. Why? Because it's written. Está escrito. So there's no way to interpret that. All right, let me give it to you a second time, and then we'll see what you guys heard. We'll also check your pop quiz answers today as well. And today's, well, I would say the first one and the third one, basic stuff that you need to know. Deberías saber decir las preposiciones con los meses, los años. I mean, this is like, I would say beginner stuff, but I've heard mistakes all the time, right? So we'll clear that up as well. The tomar con filosofía, I think that one's more on the level of totally native. So if you don't know that one, I may forgive you. A lo mejor te perdono. And the third one, I think, is basic enough that all of you should be able to get the third one. Again, today's pop quiz. The first one, I was born tal día, tal hora, tal mes, tal año, y luego dámelo todo. Sin la hora, o sea, la fecha entera es lo que digo. ahí al final, okay? The second one, tomar con filosofía. Again, we've looked at it. I'm sure we have, but it's not an easy one, okay? It's used often, but it's not an easy one. And the third one, show me that you know the difference between firmar and firma, because I've heard a lot of people mix those up as well. All right, let's give a listen to our Say What soundbite. Here it is for the second time, amigos.
I've done it several times, and people go down in flames, and then they show them where it actually came from, which is sort of a meaningless comment, but a fun comment that demonstrates that the enormity of that song.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
That's right, amigos. VaughanTienda.com. You can pick up This Book is the Shit. You can also pick up Conversaciones en Inglés, which we heard from today in our pop quiz, and we'll be checking your answers in just a moment. But don't forget, we've got everything you need, whether you need to brush up on, quitarle el polvo, to brush up on your phrasal verbs. Maybe you just need to go over basic grammar. Maybe it's those prepositions that we're going to be looking at in just a moment that can really throw people off. I mean, I'm telling you, there's such small words: in, on, at, not always. Sometimes they're longer words, right? Around. But these three, and there's a real simple explanation. What is that explanation? In Spanish, how do you say in? En. Okay, how do you say on? En. Okay, how do you say at? En. Okay, so you've got a 33.3333% chance of getting it right. It's not 50-50 here because you got 3. So it can be quite confusing. Now, when we talk in general, and there are exceptions here, okay? There are always exceptions. English is the language of exceptions. But when we talk in general, we say at. Yesterday, I was at the mall. I imagine you went in it, right? So in is in 4 walls. It's the same thing. When I first started teaching, I work in Vodafone. Well, unless you're the gardener, I imagine that, right? Trabajo adentro. Because we're not talking about the building, are we? So I work for, se puede decir, or I work at tal empresa. And imagine how many times people say that. How many times when I met a student, where do you work? I work in tal. Yeah, in the building. But if you're talking about the concept, it's more at. I'll meet you at Corte Inglés. What does that mean? Well, maybe I'll be in the parking garage. Maybe I'll meet you out front. It means I'm in the area of it. I'm talking about the concept, not the physical building. Although, obviously, if El Corte Inglés is a physical building, I'm saying in the area of, right? In that area. So that's at. In. There are 4 walls around you, right? I had a student say, Alberto, I'm in your desk. I said, are you a molecule? Eres molécula. Because that's the only thing that's in the wood, la madera. Maybe you're an air bubble. So you can't be in, or maybe you're in a drawer, in el cajón. Well, get out of there, man. It's a tight squeeze. So I'm in your desk? No. Then he said, I remember Felix, really funny. He goes, I'm on your desk. I'm like, will you get down? Bájate, por favor. No te pongas encima de mi mesa de trabajo. Right? And then he said, I'm at your desk. I said, I'll see you in a minute. I'm on my way. So another one that a student, I think of, all these anecdotes come from 20 years plus of classes. I remember Yolanda. I was making up a class with her on the weekend. She worked for a very, very big bank. She had a very high position. And she was doing some errands, and I met her at her house because we live close by. So to make up the class, it was easier for both of us to do it on the weekend and not at her bank. And I remember I was waiting by her door, and I rang the buzzer, el telefonillo, and I said, oh, she's not here. She's not answering the buzzer. So I called her and I said, Yolanda, where are you? ¿Dónde estás? And she said, she was in her car, I heard, because she was on hands-free. And she said, I'm in the way. And I said, well, if I were you, I would get out of the way. And she said, what? I'm like, hombre, if you're in the way and you're in a car, you're going to get hit. Si estás en medio, not advisable, right? And then she said, I'm on the way or on my way. She said, I'm on the way or I'm on my way. And I said, okay, lo mismo que Felix. I'll see you in 5 minutes. So, yeah, it makes a big difference if you're in the way or on the way. If you're in Corte Inglés, well, that means you're shopping. If you're at Corte Inglés, it means you're around there. You could be in it. It's less specific. And if you're on Corte Inglés, don't jump. Don't jump, guy. Okay? Another one, too, with the events. I had a student, Maria. Look, I'm telling you their names because I remember it like it was yesterday. This is how pesky prepositions are. Maria said to me, Alberto, I was in the opera because I said, what did you do this weekend, Maria? Tell us about your weekend. And she said, I was in the opera. I said, seriously, Maria? I had no idea that you were an opera singer. And she goes, oh, no. I said, well, if you're in the opera, that means you're performing. And she said, I was at the opera. I go, that's the right one. Right, on the opera? Well, on es encima de. So you're talking about on the roof of the building. Okay. So again, with weddings, another example. I was in the wedding. Okay, it doesn't normally mean you're the bride or the groom, novio y novia. But if you're in the wedding, you have a duty, right? You have to seat people. You're an usher, un acomodador, or you're going to do a speech, right? Or you're the ring bearer, el que lleva el anillo. Okay, the flower girls. You have a role. Then you're in a wedding. Many people have been at weddings and they've never been in a wedding. See, we've all been at a wedding, or we've been to a wedding. You can say I've been to many weddings. But if you say I've been in many weddings, I assume you participated. Okay, and then here's another one too that's an exception with transport. If you're on board, entonces es on, right? Because you can say I'm in the plane, and technically you are. Based on the explanation I just gave you, it would be in. Pero acuérdate, ahí es a bordo. I'm on the bus right now. I'm on board the bus. So hay algunos on, evidentemente, en una moto, porque no tienes. Ahí es evidente, right? I'm on a motorcycle right now. I'm on the bus. I'm on the train. If you're on board, se usa on. All right, these are just some general rules, as we call them, rules of thumb. A rule of thumb es una regla en general. Are there exceptions? Yes, there are. Yes, there are, as always. All right, let's see who's with us in the house. We've got Ana Gomez. What's up, Ana? Good morning. Great to have you with us, ready to rock and learn some English. She says, morning, dear Double A. Sorry for my mistake. Which mistake? She said the Motril Air Show will take place next weekend. A big kiss. Well, you know, airplanes are right up my alley. I won't be able to make it next weekend, unfortunately, but I'm going to get there by hook or by crook. Not this year, but at some point in the future, I will go to the Motril Air Show. Thank you very much for the 411. ¿Qué? El 411. Well, I guess you need to know a little bit about American pop culture to know that one. Because when I was a kid, pre-internet, if you had a question like, what time does the library close? Or do you know, you could get information, you know, what is the bus? And there were people sitting there and you would call the number 411 and you could get information about things. That was the pre-internet. So the phone number 411, or now just the number, means information. What's the 411? Did you get the 411? Did you get the information? As opposed to 911, which is an emergency. We've got a 911. And you know what? It's good to know that second number, that 911, just in case, right? Because if you call 112 in the United States, I don't know what's going to happen. But if you call 911, well, then that is the emergency line. So both of those numbers have become synonymous with what they were used for. 411, information, 911, emergency, an emergency situation. So thanks for the 411, Ana, and I will get there eventually. This year I can't due to scheduling constraints. It means I don't have a free minute on any weekend. It's crazy. And it's not my social life. It's a 5-year-old girl's social life. Wow. I know I was pretty social, but I don't remember being as busy as my daughter is. All right, well, Ana, great to have you here with us. It's an absolute pleasure. There's Chris Valrol. What's up, Chris? She says, morning show with no namers. Today's a weird day. It's a holiday here. A weird day or an awesome day, right? Well, congrats. If you guys don't have to work today, I don't think that's the case in Madrid, unless... Do we have a holiday today? What am I doing here? All right, guys, see you later. No, I'm joking. As far as I know, esta es buena saberla. As far as I know, today is not a holiday in Madrid, but to all of you who've got a day off today, un día libre, enjoy it to the max. Oh, you probably even got to sleep in. To sleep in is dormir más que la cuenta. Aposta. Right? On the weekends, Johnny loves to sleep in. To oversleep es cuando te despiertas con una palabra. Oh, fuck. So, here it is. Ready? Sleep in. Lo voy a definir cada uno con un sonido, una palabra, con una sílaba. If you sleep in, you wake up and you say, oh. If you oversleep, you wake up and you say, oh, shit. I'm late. All right, great. Well, enjoy it, Chris. All right, let's see. Chris is also participating in our pop quiz. She says, I was born on a Friday. Muy bien. Días son on. He works on Tuesdays. Our meetings are on Wednesdays. So on with days. All right, great. Let's see. She says, I was born on February 5th. All right, this is the full one. So I was born on February 5th, 1971. Si ponemos todo. I was born in 1971. Great. And I was born at 11:30 a.m. The only one we're missing is the month alone, right? Sin poner la fecha, porque esa es diferente. Por eso quería mirarlo. So I'll give you mine, all right? So I was born on a Saturday. Eso es verdad. I looked it up. Okay. I was born on a Saturday. I was born at 12:37 a.m., por decir algo. So I was born on a Saturday. I was born at 12:30. I was born in November. Acuérdate el mes. Piensa que el mes tiene 4 paredes. Is that a good way, maybe? On es una fecha. Está encima de ese día calendario. Maybe, hey, guys, visualization really helps. So I was born in, porque está dentro. Piensa esto. Los años están cerrados. Los meses están cerrados. Son un cuadro. So you're born in 1977. In my case, I was born in 1977, right? I was born in November. I was born on November 19th, 1977. And I was born at 12:30. And the full one is con on, porque otra vez vas con la fecha. So the only ones that are really in is the year, the month, also the season. I was born in summer. I was born in fall. Okay, so otra vez piensa, si está cerrado en algo que es parte de un grupo y no es el día específico, entonces es in. Hey, maybe it'll help you, maybe not, but you'll be surprised how many people mix these up, even high-level students, all right? So make sure you took notes there. All right, let's see. The second one, Chris. Better to take things philosophically. I've never heard it, but it would be a literal translation. I have to, so she says, better to take things philosophically. I mean, I guess you would understand it, but there's a more native way to express it. All right, we'll see if anybody else got it over here. She says, the next one, I have to go to the notary to sign. I mean, leaving my signature. My Jane Hancock. Great job. All right, so the verb is to sign. I remember a student named Bea every day. Alberto, can I sing? Porque tenían que firmar una hoja de asistencia, an attendance sheet. And I said, go ahead, Bea. Y esperábamos yo y David, el otro alumno, que cantase. Y ya después de 6 meses, ya me tardó, she started saying, can I sign? I'm like, sure. So careful with that. Sign, S-I-G-N, and sing, S-I-N-G. And the thing is called a signature, or as she said, a Jane Hancock, which is, you can switch it for a female, say Jane Hancock, or John Hancock, which again comes from our Declaration of Independence. It's another way of saying your signature. All right, so nobody's got the tomarlo con filosofía here that I was looking for. All right, well, we'll check it out after the commercial break. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. We're here for the final week of live shows before the summer break. Let's make every single second count. Well, even if it weren't the last week. Let's make every single second count whenever. Don't forget, folks, you've got amazing shows. Oh, well, that's another thing. The show with no name is going on break because I took vacation next week and the following week. So you're going to have other live shows in the next 2 weeks, just not this one. I'll be chilling by the pool, doing basically nothing. Yeah, I feel like it. But nada. Just for a couple weeks. But you guys have great shows. I'm leaving you in great hands. Excellent hands. You'll have Rob Grams and the Probo Show. You'll have Fitz and his program, No Excuses. Our latest, greatest program, Speaking with Confidence, with Gretchen. Don't miss it right after today's show. You got the Lunchtime Show with Rob and Andy. After the Lunchtime Show, you've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. What a soothing voice she has. You've also got Richard Vaughn and Richard Vaughn Live. You've got The Salad with Dave Boyce. You've got Kyle Miller and Drive Time. And you've also got, I know I'm missing some, Chris Frank and Frankly Speaking. And you've also got Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. So many amazing programs here on Vaughn Radio. And if you have the Vaughn Radio app, or you have whatever podcast platform you have, you're subscribed to us, you'll never miss an episode of your favorite programs. All right, amigos, let's kick off the second half of today's show with our homophones on the show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. And, well, I think you might be familiar. You're definitely going to be familiar with the first word. Okay. The second one, we shall see. Veremos. We shall see, my amigos. All right. The first word is mentiras. Mentiras. También sería el verbo mentir si es él, ella o eso. Okay, so en tercera persona presente, right? Él miente mucho, pues sería eso también. So es mentir con ese. Okay, es mentiras. That is your first word. I know you guys know this word. You should know this word, but we'll find out if you know this second word. The second one is the one I think is going to be the toughest one here. And the second word is a word anybody with a kid will know, or anybody who's ever been a kid, which means all of us. And the word is piojo. Piojos. Okay, no es piojo porque piojo se escribe de otra manera. Ahora lo vemos. It's el plural, piojos. Okay, piojos. So there are these parasitic insects that you can get in your hair. And sadly, here in my house, it's a word we know pretty often. Well, you know, as I said, kids, I believe they're highly, I don't know if the word is contagious, but they spread very easily. So if one kid comes to school with 3 and then they lay eggs, if I'm not mistaken, dejan huevos. I don't know how it works. But I remember there was I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. We all got it. I guess it was in the school, and then one person gave it to his brother. It wasn't just my class, it was the whole school. It was incredible. We had an outbreak. How do you say outbreak? Estallido, I think you would say. An outbreak. A ver. Un brote, that's the word. Yeah, brote. So there was a huge outbreak of casi lo digo, Casi lo digo. All right, so let's see if you know that second word. I know you know the first one, and if you know if they sound exactly the same. So if you say esos son mentiras. No tengo piojos. Do the words mentiras and piojos sound exactly the same? And obviously, what are those words? Those are your homophones. Also, let me give you the say what soundbite for the 3rd time.
I've done it several times, and people go down in flames, and then they show them where it actually came from, which is sort of a meaningless comment, but a fun comment that demonstrates that the enormity of that song.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you live from the funeral.
Señoras y señores, nos dirigimos a ustedes desde el funeral real.
What a sad day it is, for this book is the remilk.
Es un día triste para This Book is the Remilk.
It is a book that was loved by many and will be missed by all.
Es un libro que fue adorado por muchos y será extrañado por aún más.
But don't fret, no, don't worry.
Pero no se preocupen,
because the remilk will be reborn.
porque This Book is the Remilk volverá a nacer.
With a new name, a new cover, and brand new audio.
Con un nuevo nombre, una nueva portada y ahora con audio.
It's called This Book is the Milk 2.
Se llama This Book is the Milk 2.
Brilliant. And it will usher in
Smashing.
a new age.
Y nos adentrará en una nueva era.
All hail. This Book is the Milk 2, the new leader.
¡Viva This Book is the Milk 2, el nuevo rey!
Long live. This Book is the Milk 2.
¡Larga vida al nuevo rey! This Book is the Milk 2.
All right. Hey, folks, you know we love playing around there. You can tell you got that vibe. Hey, and we can learn. The good thing about all the ads that at least Damian and I do, we try and put content into them, right? Like the one with all the sports idioms. It's par for the course. I mean, these are really good idioms to know. And for example, one, long live. He oído mucha gente decir long life to lo que sea. Pero nosotros lo simplificamos bastante. It's long live the queen. Long live the show with no name. So write it down. Pon long life to, que sería la traducción literal, y pon long live. And if you don't have This Book is the Milk 2, or This Book is the Milk, or This Book is the Shit, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You can pick them up at the Von Tienda, vontienda.com. Also for our amigos who are living in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza, you know, you can feel free to stop by. Get a free level test. Why not? I don't know what's holding you back. I would do it. If they were giving away free level tests in Spanish, I'd be curious to see my level. Y más cuando llegamos al habría, si hubiese, si habría, si hubiera, you know? Okay, I'm sure the basic stuff. Soy español. I'm Spanish. Okay. Tengo ganas de tal. Me apetece. Okay, up to there, I'm okay. But when we get into the hubieras, hubiese, whoa, okay. As I say, even Spanish people and English people, we've talked about it. Every time we've looked at our past conditional, which is I would have gone if you had gone. Usamos el mismo verbo para que veas la estructura. Okay, porque es la misma forma del verbo, que es el participio. So I would have, I would have gone if you had gone. El error, muchos americanos dicen, I would have gone if you would have gone. O sea, usan el would dos veces. And it's wrong. So those past conditionals are difficult in any language, even for native speakers. But I'd be curious, does anybody want to give me a Spanish level test? I'm sure I could ask ChatGPT to do it. Give me a Spanish level test going from easier to more difficult. And I've got to see, and I wouldn't write it. I would see if I know it aloud. The same thing I'm always telling you guys. ¿Qué importa si yo sé escribir? ¿Cuántas ganas tengo si no sé decirlo? See what I mean? So I would want to do a verbal test. As you know, the Vaughn tests are all verbal. You don't have to, there's no writing. You don't need a pen when you do a Vaughn level test. I can tell you that right now. We're not interested in how you write. We're interested in how you express yourself, how comfortable you are when you're speaking, right? And we'll ask certain questions to test certain structures that you should or should know by a should or shouldn't know before a certain level. As you know, Richard Vaughn and his team of, people who create content in this company, they're always, thinking of, okay, what level is this? So every material we have is a gradual thing. So even if you get the intermediate conversaciones en inglés, the beginning of the book will be a little bit easier than the end of the book. There's a gradual progression, as there is with everything in life, right? A gradual progression. All right, let's see. We've got a lot of comments here. I see Chris a lot. I'm not seeing the fellas today. I guess the guys are on holiday drinking a pina colada by the pool. Hey, good for you. Enjoy. Chris says, I heard a British guy. This is talking about today's Say What soundbite, which we've already heard 3 times, by the way. And she says, I heard a British guy. I'd say he's a musician. He says something about people in flames. I think it's figurative. Maybe it speaks to the fans' enthusiasm for a song. Chris, what a great synopsis. He is British. He is a musician. He is talking about going down in flames, and he is speaking figuratively. And they're talking about a song. So you got all the pieces of the puzzle there. Excellent job, Chris. Wonderful ear there. Chris says, maybe we can say, take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. She says, I can sing, but you are not going to hear me. Well, you can always sing. And I think you have in the past in your question of the week. In fact, we've had a few of you break into song in your question of the week. And that's how I know you're an English superstar. Porque una cosa, tú puedes hablar en inglés, genial. ¿Puedes cantar en inglés y no te da vergüenza? You are totally native. It's a good exercise to do with students. Guys, we're all going to get on stage and sing a song. And then you sing a song and then after, okay, now let's have a conversation. It almost dwarfs it. To dwarf, hacer que sea más pequeño, hablar si cantas, right? So it's a good, it could be a good strategy to get rid of this, hacernos de that stage fright. And you know what? Stage fright, just like worry, they're things we don't need. What do you need worry for? Well, if you're worried, do something about it, right? But worrying itself is not going to help you. It's just going to drive you crazy. Right, over something. Very different than being concerned about something. You should be concerned about your English. You shouldn't be worried. I wouldn't be worried. You guys are all on the right path. You're doing what you need to do, right? So take it easy. Yeah, that's one way to say tómalo con filosofía. But just remember with this, there are people who do not want to be told, relájate, take it easy, calm down. Okay, so that means calm down. A lot of times, what's the answer? Something, I am calm. Okay, all right. So be careful with that one, even though we mean it with all the best intention. Guy, take it easy. Okay, take it easy. Relax. Well, the expression is to take it in stride. All right? I've been really stressed out this month, but I'm trying to take it in stride. All right? And what is stride? A stride is your footstep. Tranco, trancada, zancada. Okay, como quiere decir, tómalo con cada paso. Take it in stride, right? It's a great word. Stride se escribe. It's a totally native expression, okay? We also say to hit your stride, coger el ritmo. Piénsalo. Si sabes que stride es lo que acabamos de decir, los pasos, el avance, las zancadas barra trancadas, andares también. Look at his stride. He has a very elegant stride. So si lo piensas, tómalo paso por paso. Take it in stride. It's a totally native, and I see nobody knew it. So that's great. That's great because a lot of times we're reviewing stuff and we're always adding new things. So take it in stride. Con filosofía, you say in Spanish. All right, let's see. Daniela. What's up, Daniela? Great to have you with us. And she says the two words correctly. And she says they are not the same. Chris Valrol gives us the two words as well. And she says they aren't homophones. I don't really know. So she's just guessing. Hey, that's great. You don't lose anything. Remember, you don't lose anything by maybe I give you, but who cares? That's kind of funny anyway. Right? All right. So let's say the words. I think that's always the best way to do it. Okay. I'm telling you no lies. No te estoy contando mentiras. I'm telling you no lies. There are a lot of lice in the school. No lies. There are a lot of lice. So, lies, mentiras, lice. ¿Cómo es la palabra? Piojos. Lice. So, are they homophones? No way. Excellent job, Daniela and Cristina. The ladies are kicking butt today, while the guys are drinking pina coladas by the pool. If you like pina colada, getting caught in the rain. If you like making love at midnight. Hey, who doesn't like pina coladas and making love at midnight? All right, so let's rhyme some words just to make sure you've got the pronunciation of each one. So, lies. Lies rhymes with rise. Lies rhymes with realize. I realize he lies because you can tell by his eyes. So es un sonido Z al final. Z en inglés. Eyes. Okay? Lies. Does it rhyme with ice? No. Ice rhymes with lice. The second one. Eso es una S al final. Lice. Twice. Rice. Those words rhyme with the second one, lice. So say them with me. Mentiras, lies, lies. Y siempre se me olvida. Piojos, lice. All right, and the singular of piojos? The singular is louse. L-O, esto es un irregular bastante, right? So, louse, L-O-U-S-E. Y esta también significa rata o canalla. This guy's a louse. Nunca se usa en plural en ese caso. So, louse, vamos a ponerlo así, to make it easy for you. Lice, we usually use to talk about the little animals, those little parasites. And louse, the singular, is what we use to talk about a person who's like that. Okay, does that clear it up? All right, amigos, wonderful job. It's time to move on to our spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right, amigos, welcome to our Spelling Bee. This is probably the most challenging section on the show every day. And yeah, you can go fast, but that's not what we're looking for if it's not right. So here, yes, you're always trying to get faster. You're always trying to get more agile. But the most important thing here is that you get the information down correctly, even if you have to wait till that second round. You know, my grandfather always used to do that to me. I remember when I worked with him in the pharmacy. Él tenía farmacia. He would tell me, maybe he was sending a bill, ya está esa palabra otra vez, invoice to Pfizer, right, for medicine that he had ordered. He would tell me, okay, Alberto, write the address, copy this address on this envelope, but I want it to a T. He goes, just imagine that you're working for NASA. And if you get one comma wrong, you're not going to the moon. And I was like, no pressure, right, Grandpa? Well, my grandfather was a pharmacist. He was a very precise man. And, well, it worked out for him. But I remember he was like, treat it like it's the most important thing in the world. Check it out. Make sure you've got it perfectly. Because if not, I mean, it was as simple as the letter wouldn't get there, even though the mailman would probably say, bueno, Pfizer, no, ha puesto la 3 mal, es una 8, pero sé dónde está la oficina de Pfizer, por ejemplo. But he always, taught me to pay attention to those details. So here we go, my amigos. I am going to fly through round one. As always, let's capitalize the first letter of each word. The first one is CHAMPLAIN space TOWERS space SOUTH. The second one is CONDOMINIUM. The third one, SURFSIDE, comma, space FLORIDA. The fourth one, SUDDEN, space PARTIAL, space COLLAPSE. And the fifth one is RUBBLE. And the last one, 98, space CASUALTIES. Whoa. All right. If you got that, I've got to say you are a superstar student, because that was really fast. I'm out of breath. Me he quedado sin aliento. Let me catch my breath here a second. All right. Going once. I'll give you about 30 seconds or so. 30 seconds to a minute to see if anybody got them on the first go. And if not, I'm going to repeat them in just a moment at a more manageable pace. Un ritmo más manejable para cualquiera. Bueno, cualquiera que se considera nivel intermedio de inglés. Okay? Intermedio bajo. Should know how to spell, right? Okay. All right. Going once. Going twice. All right, folks, we've got to keep moving or else we're not going to make it to our commercial break. So it is time for round 2 of today's Spelling Bee. This is the round where, again, it's a lot more doable. To do es hacer. Haceíble, asequible, you say, pero posible de hacer. Okay, here we go, folks. The first one is CHAMPLAIN space TOWERS space SOUTH. The second one is CONDOMINIUM. The third one is SURFSIDE, comma, space FLORIDA. The fourth one is SUDDEN, space PARTIAL, space COLLAPSE. S-E. The fifth one is R-U-B-B-L-E. And the sixth one is the number 98, then a space, and then C-A-S-U-A-L-T-I-E-S. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. We've got Double Trouble. We've got our Say What soundbite. We'll check the spelling bee stuff. We've got movies, we've got jokes, famous birthdays, and so much more. So stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. As I said, this coming Saturday, I'm going away for 2 weeks. So you'll have repeats. Tendréis repeticiones, which is great too. You can learn from repeats. Why not? The content is valid. In fact, a lot of times, I don't know if you guys notice, but when you guys say, Happy Friday, what do I say? Happy day. Because it doesn't matter what day it is, does it? I mean, sometimes you'll know because I'm like, well, I'll say some kind of current event. But generally, the content is what we call evergreen. Vale para cualquier momento. Doesn't matter if you listen to a winter episode in the summer. The content is still valid. And you've got content 24/7, 365 here on the Vaughn Radio app. Don't miss all your favorite programs. Vaughn Radio. All right, let's take a look at this double trouble we've got coming up. Oh, easy. Oh, man. I expect a lot of participation today. You know why? This is one of those that came up in a show. Surgió en otro programa. Lo apunto. I write it down. And you know those moments when I'm like, ooh, this is a good double trouble. And then you see me grab my pen and jot it down. That means you should too, because you'll see it later on in a future double trouble. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble.
said double trouble.
All right, folks, let's take a look at our double trouble here again. I think most of you, if you pay attention and you listen regularly, I think you guys should be able to get this one. No problem whatsoever. All right. El paciente se partía de la risa cuando el médico le puso los puntos. Okay? Le puso, right? I think that's, a veces dudo con mi español, eh? Well, if it's ever wrong, just let me know. I appreciate it, in fact. Because a lot of people say, oh, your Spanish is native. No, it's not. I mean, okay, I got, I can get by perfectly. No problem. Okay. But it's not native. I still have a lot of questions. A lot of unanswered questions in the language. Okay, so el paciente se partía de la risa cuando el médico le puso los puntos. Again, we looked at this idiomatic expression, another way of saying to crack up, right? But there was another way to say it. And in fact, now that I think about it, I could have made it a triple trouble because there's also the idiomatic expression, más vale prevenir que curar, right? Which also uses this word. I can give you a clue. The word is also from, it's a Disney character, Pixar, an alien. I know we looked at it before because this is one of those that I wrote down and said, this is a good double trouble for the future. Well, there you go, folks. El paciente se partía de la risa cuando el médico le puso los puntos. All right, let me also give you the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the fourth and final time.
I've done it several times, and people go down in flames, and then they show them where it actually came from, which is sort of a meaningless comment, but a fun comment that demonstrates that the enormity of that song.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. More information about Vaughan Town at grupovaughan.com. Also, you can reach out on social media and we'll give you all the information you need. All right, let's take a look. We've got some comments over here. Chris Valrol is taking a stab at today's spelling bee. Chris, the first one's correct. The second one's correct. The third, fourth, fifth. Oh, you're missing a comma, but don't worry about it. And the sixth. Excellent job, Chris. Now, as you know, these words always have something in common. They're the key words to tell a story of something that happened in history, right? I usually say, I chose these words because today it was because in the year 2021, about 4 years ago, the Champlain Towers South. Now, this was a condominium in Surfside, Florida, in Miami. Okay, so the first word was Champlain Towers South. That was the name of the building. Number two, it was condominiums, where people live. Condos. You can also say condos. Just be careful you don't say condoms. Condoms are prophylactics. Condos are where people live. Okay. The third one was Surfside, Florida, where it took place. What happened? That's number 4. A sudden partial collapse. So, un colapso repentino parcial. We also say when something collapses, it caves in. Piénsalo. Cueva para adentro. Una cueva, ¿qué pasa? Cuando ya no aguanta más, it caves in. So it caved in, and there was rubble. In fact, people were rescued from the rubble. The word rubble is escombros. It's also Fred Flintstone's neighbor's last name. Yeah. Fred Flintstone. Yabba dabba doo. You call him Pedro Picapiedra. Well, the Flintstone is the kind of stone they use for a lighter. Para un mechero, that's a flint stone. Okay. And rubble, escombros, Barney Rubble. Yeah, I love that also the baby's name is Pebbles. Pebbles, chinitas, pequeñas piedras. So, I mean, we can learn a lot from watching something as old, as classic as the Flintstones, right? Rubble. And there were 98 casualties. That's a false friend, as you know. It's not casualidades, because that would be 98 coincidences. This is casualties. This means people who died. There were 98 deaths. And basically what happened was there was these reinforced concrete structural supports. Well, supports are what hold up a building, the supporting walls, right? And the poles, these big things that really, because some walls they're non-load bearing walls. No llevan carga. So all of that goes on the load bearing. Vimos la palabra load ayer. Los que llevan la carga, el peso del edificio, right? And basically, this was in the basement level of the parking garage, right under the pool. Does anybody see what happened there? If I just give you that information. So the structural integrity of the building was compromised in the parking garage under the pool. Leak? Yeah. So what happened was water was penetrating this, and it caused corrosion in the steel, and years of neglect. You know what happens. And thankfully, 35 people were rescued from the rubble, para usar la palabra que acabamos de ver, and the building was eventually demolished or torn down. To tear down es tirar un edificio. So the building was demolished or torn down 10 days later. I'm sure you guys remember hearing about this because it was pretty recent. It's not like we're going back to 1885 today. So excellent job, my amigos, in our spelling bee. Let's see, we've got Chris Valrol. She's taking a stab at our double trouble. Chris, you are a warrior today because you're not getting too much help from your classmates today. How are the pina coladas, guys? All right, Chris says the patient was in stitches. Absolutely. When the doctor put in the stitches. Yes. Perfect. Okay. And how would you say me pusieron puntos? Or me dieron, I don't know how to say it in Spanish. I got obtuve, we would say. I got stitches. I got 4 stitches in my eyebrow, right? My eyebrow is mi ceja. Okay, so excellent. To be in stitches. We've looked at that one, guys. It means you're cracking up. I imagine the patient had a lot of laughing gas. So the patient was in stitches when the doctor put in the stitches. Chris, you are going the extra mile. Excellent job. Also, Chris, in today's Say What soundbite, is there anything she can't handle? And we haven't even gotten to her favorite part yet, which is name that movie. Name that movie. right. Let's take a look over here and see what we've got. Now, I have to change the name here because the moment I say the name of the character, it's a done one. You got it. So I'm going to change the name, okay? Adventurer, Debbie, who's your father? Debbie Menganita, right? Who's your father? ¿Quién es tu padre? O sea, como apellido, right? Or Debbie Jingleheimer Schmidt. Debbie, who's your father? Okay, I'm changing the name, as I said. So adventurer, Debbie, who's your father, explores lost empires and discovers immeasurable treasures. Toma trabalenguas. Immeasurable treasures in her daily life. But a secret from the past of her father, a missing archaeologist, will lead her to one of her greatest challenges. Oh, wow. Sounds pretty exciting. So adventurer, Debbie, who's your father, explores lost empires. The emperor is the person or the empress, and the place that they reign over is the empire. Okay? O sea, Nueva York se llama el Estado del Imperio. Just in case you were curious. The building came after because New York's nickname is the Empire State. And then they said, well, the building, too, is going to be called the Empire State Building. So what came first? The nickname, el Estado, Imperio, right? And then the building said, well, that sounds really good, especially for the tallest building for a long time. So, in fact, on license plates, las placas in the United States, it says New York at the top, and it says the Empire State. All right, ladies and gentlemen, she is unstoppable. It's Chris Valrol. And it's Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, or as you guys call it in Spain, Tom Rider. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. When I first heard it, I'm like, who the hell is this Tom Rider guy everybody's talking about? I don't know who this Tom Rider guy is. All right. So, yes, it is Lara Croft, Tomb. Piensa esto. O sea, en español es tumba, quita la ba, tomb. O sea, te estás complicando para nada porque ya sabes decir tumba. So, quita la ba, tomb. And it's Raider, right? Raider, not rider, because if it was rider, solo tendría la I, right? To ride a motorcycle, that's rider. Raider is to raid, is saquear. And we know it from another movie. Dun, 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 dun. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's also a team, the Los Angeles Raiders. All right. So you'll see that along pretty often. Just make sure you don't mix it up. All right. And she explores lost empires, discovers immeasurable treasures. But a secret from the past of her father, a missing archaeologist, will lead her to one of the greatest challenges. Let's take a look at the scene. Manfred says, Lady Croft, tell me, is there a good reason why I just kept you alive? Porque no te maté. Básicamente, porque te he mantenido viva. And Lara says, yes. That is not the true I. O sea, no es realmente lo que buscas, lo que buscábamos. No es el verdadero. That is not the true I. And Manfred says, this is the true I. Like saying, yes, it is. And Lara says, it's not. Actually, realmente, it's a mirror image. Es una imagen del espejo. And Manfred says, Ms. Croft, Ms. M.S. punto. Cuando no sabemos si está casado o no. Ms. Croft, I think you're trying to cheat me out of my little ray of sunshine. To cheat me out of something es engañarme, quitármelo, right? I think you're trying to cheat me out of. That's the structure. Outa. I think you're trying to cheat me out of my little ray of sunshine, mi felicidad. And Lara says, why would I try and cheat you out of anything now? I need you to get the piece so I can steal it from you later. So she's cheeky. She's like, I'm not even going to hide it from you. I'm taking it. So you better get it. And Manfred says, you're bluffing. To bluff is, we were talking about lying before. You're bluffing. You're not really telling me your intentions, right? You have ulterior motives. We've looked at that before. Ulterior motives means you have a hidden reason for doing things. And then he says, Julius, make a mental note. To make a mental note, apúntalo en tu cabeza. No te olvides. Toma nota, pero en tu mente. Kill Ms. Croft if she attempts any such thing. Tal cosa. So there you go. Excellent job, Chris. And we are gonna move on to your joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, my amigos, these are all jokes that have to do with hair. El pelo. Well, because I figured we were looking at lice. We were looking at lies, right? Mentiras, lies. We were looking at lice, piojos. So I figured let's keep with that theme. Let's see if you get these jokes over here. Why did the barber come first in the race to finish cutting hair the fastest? So why did the barber come first, terminar primero, in the race to finish cutting hair the fastest? Well, it's because he had taken a shortcut. No. He was in a race. He took a shortcut, un atajo. A shortcut es un corte de pelo cortito. All right. I've got another one for you. What is a barber's favorite animal? Easy. Hair. No, pelo. Hair, liebre. H-A-R-E. You get it now? What is a barber's favorite animal? Hair. All right, and the last one. What did a bald historian, bald es calvo, say when he found an antique comb, un peine, la B muda, in the ruins, in the rubble? Vamos a usar la palabra rubble para usarlo de nuevo, okay? So what did a bald historian say when he found an antique comb in the rubble? He said that he was never going to part with it. No, he was never going to part with it. All right. Well, I guess we need to know if I'm never going to part with something, it means I'm going to keep it forever. Okay? I'm not going to part with it. But also, with a comb, you can part your hair. El pelo, right? To part your hair. So he said, since he's bald, I'm never going to part with it. All right, amigos. I know. Really, really bad joke. You're lucky it's time for famous birthday trivia. One, two, three. Famous birthdays for you. Birthdays for me. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. That's right, amigos. We've got to fly through this. Number one, our famous birthday boy was born in 1961. He was in the Resident Evil video game movies. He was in Game of Thrones, where he played Jorah Mormont. I guess I've never seen Game of Thrones. Not my style. He was also in Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. You mean today's name that? Yes, that's right. He played Manfred Powell, the bad guy, the guy who was telling that Lara was telling she was going to kill. Okay. Also, Downtown Abbey, Eye in the Sky, and many, many more. He's also a classically trained, so a Scottish actor. Number two, Beyonce's sister. And a backup dancer for Destiny's Child back in the day. She has her own albums, but it stinks. No matter how good you do, you're always going to be Beyonce's sister. Like, and I'm not saying I love Beyonce, but, you know, it's a hard act to follow, Beyonce. And last but not least, this guy is an English-American dual citizen, an English-American drummer, and he was a co-founder and leader of the rock band Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac, which their music is amazing, and the story behind the band is, I think, even more interesting. The album Rumors is what many would call a perfect album. It's just amazing. And the band was down each other's throats. Se estaban matando en ese momento. But the music that reflected in some of the greatest music that they ever created. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a superstar today. Give it up for Grace Valrol. And with no help from her peers, today she stands alone. There are other people here, but she's the only one consistently participating. Well, Daniela, thanks to Daniela and Chris for their participation today. The rest of you, enjoy your pina coladas. Don't get too drunk. Tomorrow's a school day. All right, Grace says Ian Glenn, Solange Knowles, and Mick Fleetwood. And that'll bring us to our Say What soundbite. This is Mick Fleetwood, and he's talking about how nobody knows that Santana's, well, unless you're a music buff, that Santana's most famous song, the group Santana, Black Magic Woman, was written by Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac. So that's pretty crazy. Your number one song was written by another group. Hey, it happened. Look at I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. Wasn't written by Whitney Houston. Was written by Dolly Parton. So this is Fleetwood Mac. This is Mick Fleetwood, I should say, saying, I've done it several times and people go down in flames. And he's talking about challenging people on, oh yeah, you think Santana wrote the song? You know, challenging them on that. And he goes, and when you show them where it actually came from, the song Black Magic Woman, he goes, which is a sort of a meaningless comment. Al final, ¿qué más da? But a fun comment that demonstrates the enormity of the song. Here he is, Mick Fleetwood.
I've done it several times, and people go down in flames, and then they show them where it actually came from, which is sort of a meaningless comment, but a fun comment that demonstrates that the enormity of that song.
All right, folks, thank you so much again, and we're going to say goodbye with Don't Touch My Hair. No me toques el pelo by Solange Knowles, our birthday girl. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. Ciao for now.
Don't touch my soul.